There's a silent assassin lurking in the shadows of every great ambition, a phantom limb of fear that grips the hearts of millions, suffocating dreams before they can even draw breath. Its name? The fear of failure. It's whispered in boardrooms, shouted in classrooms, echoed in the lonely chambers of the human mind. We've been programmed, conditioned, meticulously trained to believe that failure is a definitive end, a personal indictment, a scarlet letter branded upon our potential. We see it as a cliff edge beyond which lies only ruin and regret. This insidious belief keeps innovation caged, creativity shackled, and the vast majority of humanity trapped in the safe, predictable confines of average. But what if I told you that this perception, this deep-seated dread, is a colossal misunderstanding? What if the very thing you fear, the very outcome that paralyzes you, is not an ending but a beginning? What if failure, in its truest, most profound essence, is nothing more than feedback, a data point, a course correction, a whispered instruction from the universe guiding you closer to your true path, your ultimate triumph? Imagine for a moment a different world. A world where every misstep, every stumble, every project that didn't quite land, every rejection, every closed door was met not with despair, but with curiosity. Not with self-condemnation, but with a quiet, powerful question. What is this trying to teach me? This radical shift in perspective is not mere motivational fluff. It is the very bedrock upon which empires are built, scientific breakthroughs are achieved, and personal destinies are forged. It is the secret language spoken by the true titans of history, the silent philosophy that powered their relentless ascent. They understood, deeply and intuitively, that the path to greatness is not a smooth, unblemished highway, but a rugged, often brutal terrain, scarred by attempts, punctuated by falls, illuminated by lessons learned in the crucible of what others call failure. Consider the incandescent glow of a light bulb, forged not in a moment of effortless brilliance, but through literally thousands of trials. Thomas Edison, a name synonymous with invention, famously stated, "I have not failed 0 times, I've successfully found 0 ways that will not work." He didn't see 0 failures. He saw 0 data points, 0 pieces of invaluable feedback, each one narrowing the gap between his current state and his desired outcome. His mind wasn't clouded by the fear of error. It was laser, focused on the information each error provided. He was operating from a profound understanding that failure was just feedback propelling him forward. How many of us, facing a fraction of his setbacks, would have abandoned the quest, convinced we were failures ourselves? The answer, tragically, is most of us. This transformation begins with a fundamental rewiring of your mindset. For too long, you've allowed external voices, societal narratives, and perhaps even your own internal critic to define what failure means. It's time to seize control of that definition. You must consciously, deliberately, and with unwavering intent choose to see every outcome that falls short of your expectation not as a definitive end, but as a temporary detour, a crucial piece of information. This means dismantling the deep-seated belief that your worth is tied to your immediate success or lack thereof. Your inherent value as a human being is immutable, unassailable, regardless of how many experiments flop, how many pitches get rejected, or how many business ventures don't take flight. When you detach your identity from the outcome, you liberate yourself to experiment, to dare, to push boundaries without the crushing weight of existential dread. It's about cultivating a growth mindset, a concept pioneered by Carol Dweck. Individuals with a fixed mindset believe their abilities are static, unchangeable. A setback for them is proof of their inherent limitation. But those with a growth mindset see abilities as fluid, capable of development through effort and experience. A setback, then, is not a judgment on their character, but an opportunity to learn, to adapt, to grow. It's an invitation to refine their approach, to deepen their understanding, to become more capable. The titans of industry, the visionaries who shaped our world, possessed this unwavering growth mindset. Henry Ford, after numerous business failures and bankruptcies before the success of Ford Motor Company, didn't retreat into self-pity. Each collapse was a brutal, expensive lesson in what not to do, what not to build, what not to trust. He absorbed the feedback, recalibrated, and pressed forward with a singular vision. He didn't see himself as a failed businessman. He saw himself as a relentless learner, perpetually refining his approach to revolutionize transportation. Your first, most critical step is to internalize this truth. You are not your failures. You are the sum of your efforts, your lessons, your resilience, and your unwavering commitment to growth. Every single attempt, every outcome offers a pathway forward. It is feedback, nothing more, nothing less. And by embracing this fundamental mindset shift, you unlock the potent power of true belief. The power of belief, especially the belief in your own capacity to overcome and learn from perceived failure, is nothing short of miraculous. For many, belief is a fair-weather friend, present only when the sun shines and the path is clear. But when shadows lengthen and obstacles appear, this fragile belief shatters, replaced by doubt and self-condemnation. The individual who sees failure as an indictment rather than feedback inevitably loses faith in their own ability to navigate the storm. But what if your belief in yourself was so profound, so unshakable, that it rendered the concept of failure irrelevant? What if you truly, deeply, unequivocally believe that every single experience, regardless of its immediate outcome, served your ultimate purpose? This isn't naive optimism. It's a strategic weapon forged in the fires of relentless self-conviction. Consider the story of Walt Disney. Before Disneyland, before the empire of imagination, he faced bankruptcy, plagiarism, and repeated rejections. His early animation studio, Laugh-O-Gram Studio, went bust. He lost the rights to Oswald the Lucky Rabbit, a character he created in a brutal business deal. These were not minor setbacks. They were soul-crushing blows that would have sent a lesser individual spiraling into despair. But Disney's belief in the power of storytelling, in the magic he could create, never wavered. He didn't see the loss of Oswald as a failure. He saw it as feedback, a harsh lesson in intellectual property rights, a brutal reminder to always own his creations. This feedback didn't stop him. It informed him, forcing him to create a new, more enduring character named Mickey Mouse and to build an empire on a foundation of absolute creative control. His belief transcended temporary defeat because he recognized that every experience was a component of his larger learning curve. Your belief must be of this kind. It must be a stubborn, relentless knowing that you are capable of learning from anything, adapting to anything, and ultimately achieving anything you set your mind to, provided you remain committed to the process. This belief isn't cultivated through wishful thinking. It's built through repeated acts of courage. Each time you push past the fear of judgment, each time you take a risk despite the possibility of a less than ideal outcome, each time you analyze a failure for its lessons instead of its sting, you reinforce the neural pathways of resilient belief. When this deep-seated conviction takes root, it transforms your relationship with action. You no longer hesitate, paralyzed by the specter of what might go wrong. Instead, you approach every endeavor with a curious eagerness, knowing that whatever the result, it will provide valuable data, crucial insights, and indispensable feedback that will refine your approach and accelerate your journey. This belief frees you to move with bold clarity. Clarity, when viewed through the lens of failure as feedback, takes on a new, profound dimension. Many individuals, paralyzed by the fear of making the wrong move, never move at all. They seek perfect information, a guarantee of success, a crystal ball that will reveal the optimal path before they even begin. This quest for absolute certainty is a delusion, a trap that keeps them in perpetual inaction, living in a fog of ambiguity. True clarity doesn't come from avoiding errors. It often emerges directly from them. Think of a scientist conducting an experiment. Their initial hypothesis provides a starting point, a direction, a form of clarity. But the true deep understanding often emerges when the experiment doesn't yield the expected results. The failure of the hypothesis provides immediate, undeniable feedback, revealing flaws in their assumptions, pointing to variables they hadn't considered, or forcing them to rethink the very nature of the problem. It is in this moment of unexpected feedback that a new, more profound clarity is forged, leading to a refined hypothesis and ultimately breakthrough discoveries. Your path to your greatest achievements is an ongoing experiment. Your initial vision, your first plan, is merely a hypothesis. You step into the arena, you take action, and then you observe the results. If the results are not what you desired, that is not a failure. It is invaluable feedback. This feedback provides unparalleled clarity on what doesn't work, what needs adjusting, what assumptions were flawed, and what new information you need to acquire. Consider the early attempts at flight. The first designers had a clear goal: to fly, but their initial contraptions often crashed. Each crash wasn't a failure of their dream, but profound feedback on aerodynamics, structural integrity, and propulsion. This clarity, born from repeated failures, allowed engineers to iterate, to refine their designs, to finally achieve the miracle of powered flight. They didn't abandon the dream of flight when their initial attempts plummeted. They embraced the feedback that each plummet provided, using it to gain crystal clear understanding of the principles of lift and drag. To cultivate this clarity, you must be ruthlessly honest with yourself about the outcomes of your actions. Don't gloss over shortcomings or rationalize away less than ideal results. Instead, lean into them. Ask precise questions. What specifically happened? What was the intended outcome? What was the actual outcome? What variables were at play? What did I learn from this? What will I do differently next time? This systematic analytical approach transforms every failure into a powerful lesson, sharpening your understanding and illuminating the true path forward with unparalleled precision. This clarity then serves to refine and strengthen your vision. Your vision, the grand blueprint of your desired future, is not a static painting. It is a living, breathing, evolving entity, constantly refined and sharpened by the feedback you receive from the world. Many people create a vision, then become so rigid in its execution that they fail to adapt when reality provides different input. They see any deviation from their original plan as a failure rather than an opportunity to adjust the lenses of their foresight. But what if every setback, every challenge, every unexpected turn served to clarify your vision even further? What if the failures were simply the universe's way of whispering, or sometimes shouting, essential details about your true path, details you couldn't have possibly known from your initial vantage point? Consider the journey of countless successful startups. Their initial vision might be to build a revolutionary app, solve a specific problem, or disrupt an industry. They launch their product, and then the market provides feedback. Perhaps customers don't use it the way they envisioned, or a key feature is confusing, or a competitor emerges with a superior solution. If they see this market feedback as definitive failure, they fold. But if they see it as invaluable data, they pivot. They refine their product, adjust their marketing, or even completely overhaul their business model based on the lessons learned. This iterative process, driven by a willingness to embrace failure as feedback, is how truly robust and impactful visions are ultimately realized. The successful companies don't stubbornly cling to their initial flawed vision. They let the market sculpt and refine it until it truly resonates. Your vision must be flexible, capable of incorporating the wisdom gleaned from experience. This means being willing to let go of how you thought things should happen in favor of what the feedback is telling you is happening. It means distinguishing between the core essence of your vision, the ultimate impact or outcome you desire, and the specific methods you initially conceived to get there. The methods are negotiable. The ultimate vision, fueled by your purpose, is not. When a project doesn't go as planned, don't mourn the failure of the project. Instead, ask, what new insight has this given me about my ultimate vision? Does this outcome suggest a more effective way to achieve it? Does it reveal a deeper understanding of the problem I'm trying to solve or the audience I'm trying to serve? This constant interplay between vision and feedback creates a powerful feedback loop, allowing your aspirations to become increasingly precise, increasingly potent, and increasingly aligned with the realities of the world. It's a dynamic dance of creation and refinement, pushing you ever closer to your magnificent future. This refined vision then crystallizes your purpose. Purpose, the profound why that fuels your every endeavor, is not discovered in a vacuum. It is often clarified, deepened, and fiercely honed in the crucible of what others call failure. Many individuals embark on a path with a vague sense of purpose, only to have it challenged, refined, or even completely transformed when their initial attempts fall short. If they interpret these setbacks as personal failings, their purpose can wither and die. But if they interpret them as feedback, their purpose becomes indestructible. Think of a humanitarian worker whose initial efforts to bring aid to a war-torn region are met with bureaucratic obstacles, logistical nightmares, and unforeseen dangers. Their specific methods might fail. The immediate results might be disheartening. But if their core purpose is deeply ingrained, to alleviate suffering, to bring hope, then these failures don't diminish their purpose. They clarify it. They reveal the specific challenges of the environment, the most effective channels, the most pressing needs. The feedback allows them to adjust their approach, to find new ways to serve their unwavering purpose, making their mission even more impactful and resilient. Their purpose wasn't shaken by the failure of their plan. It was strengthened by the feedback the failure provided. Your purpose, then, is not a delicate flower that wilts at the first sign of adversity. It is a mighty oak that sends its roots deeper into the earth with every storm it weathers. When you face a significant setback, a project that crumbles, a goal that seems unattainable, don't question your inherent purpose. Instead, ask, how does this feedback refine my understanding of my purpose? Has it revealed a hidden obstacle that my purpose needs to address? Has it pointed me towards a more urgent aspect of my mission? Has it taught me what I need to learn or who I need to become to truly fulfill this calling? This continuous dialogue between your actions, the resulting feedback, and your core purpose creates an unbreakable bond. Your purpose becomes more resilient because it is forged in the fires of real-world experience, tempered by the lessons learned from what didn't work. It sheds the idealistic illusions and becomes grounded in the practical realities of making an impact. This isn't about shifting your purpose. It's about deepening its understanding, broadening its scope, and empowering its manifestation. When your purpose is continuously refined by feedback, it becomes an unshakable anchor, guiding you through any storm, ensuring that your journey to the apex is not just successful, but profoundly meaningful. Demanding an unwavering commitment to discipline. Discipline, often perceived as a rigid adherence to a plan, takes on a liberating quality when failure is redefined as feedback. For the average individual, a setback can shatter their discipline. They plan for success, and when it doesn't materialize, they abandon their routines, lose motivation, and succumb to inertia. Their discipline is fragile because it's predicated on immediate positive outcomes. But the high achiever understands that consistent discipline is precisely what allows them to extract maximum value from every piece of feedback, whether positive or negative. Think of a disciplined athlete. They adhere to a rigorous training schedule, meticulously track their performance, and analyze every game, every practice. When they lose a game, when a technique doesn't yield the desired result, they don't abandon their discipline. Instead, they lean into it. They use the failure, the lost game, the flawed technique as critical feedback. They review the tape, consult with coaches, and adjust their training regimen based on what the data tells them. Their discipline isn't about blindly repeating the same actions. It's about consistently engaging in the process of improvement, which inherently involves learning from what didn't work. Their discipline allows them to systematically integrate feedback into their training, making them stronger, faster, and more skilled with every iteration. Your discipline then must be rooted in this continuous feedback loop. It's not just about showing up. It's about showing up with a commitment to learn and adjust. It means maintaining your routines, even when results are discouraging, because those routines are how you generate the data, the feedback that will guide your next steps. It means having the discipline to objectively analyze what went wrong rather than emotionally reacting to it. It means consistently iterating, refining, and applying the lessons learned from every outcome, ensuring that your efforts are always becoming more effective, more targeted, and more powerful. Without this disciplined approach to feedback, failure remains a stumbling block rather than a stepping stone. You'd repeat the same mistakes, trapped in a cycle of frustration. But with discipline, every perceived misstep becomes a powerful teacher, guiding your next move with greater precision. It transforms your efforts from mere repetition into intelligent, adaptive progress, ensuring that your action is always moving you closer to your goal. Action, then, is not just about doing. It's about doing, observing, learning, and then doing again with greater intelligence. Many people are afraid to take action precisely because they fear the failure that might result. This paralysis by analysis, this quest for perfect certainty before initiating, leads to a life of unfulfilled potential. But if you truly understand that failure is merely feedback, the impetus for action becomes undeniable. Every action, no matter how small, generates data. And that data, that feedback, is precisely what you need to navigate the complex terrain of ambition. Consider the early days of any pioneering endeavor. The first attempts at flight, the development of vaccines, the launch of a revolutionary tech product. These journeys were characterized by relentless action, not because every step was guaranteed to succeed, but because every step, even those that didn't work, provided crucial information. The pioneers didn't wait for a flawless plan. They acted, observed the results, extracted the lessons, and refined their approach. Their action was not reckless. It was intelligent experimentation, driven by the understanding that feedback is the fastest route to discovery. Your ascent to the apex demands a bias for informed action. This means taking calculated risks, initiating projects even when the outcome is uncertain, and launching initiatives with the express intention of learning from the result. Don't be afraid to release an imperfect version of your idea, a minimum viable product, because the real-world feedback it generates is infinitely more valuable than endless theoretical planning. When an action doesn't produce the desired outcome, don't retreat into self-blame or inaction. Instead, lean into the feedback. Ask, what did this action reveal about my assumptions? What new information have I gained? What specific adjustment can I make to my next action to increase my chances of success? This iterative cycle of action, feedback, and adjustment is the engine of all meaningful progress. It transforms failure from a paralyzing force into an accelerating one. It ensures that every ounce of your effort is not wasted, but rather contributes to a continuous process of refinement, propelling you forward with greater efficiency and precision. It cultivates an unshakable sense of gratitude. Gratitude, when viewed through the lens of failure as feedback, deepens from a pleasant emotion into a powerful tool for growth and resilience. The average individual struggles to feel grateful when things go wrong. They focus on the loss, the disappointment, the perceived setback, allowing negativity to overshadow any potential lessons. But the high achiever, the one who truly embraces the feedback loop, cultivates a profound gratitude for all outcomes, recognizing the invaluable wisdom embedded in every experience, even the challenging ones. Think of a master craftsman whose intricate project doesn't turn out as envisioned. They might feel initial frustration, but a true master doesn't dwell on the failure. Instead, they examine the flawed piece, not with anger, but with intense curiosity and gratitude for the lesson. What did this specific error teach me about the material, about my technique, about the limits of my tools? This gratitude for the feedback allows them to refine their skill, to deepen their understanding, and ultimately to create even more exquisite work. The failed piece becomes a valuable artifact of learning, a stepping stone to greater mastery. Your journey to the apex will undoubtedly involve moments that feel like failures. Financial losses, missed opportunities, public embarrassments, personal disappointments. In these moments, it's easy to succumb to self-pity or resentment. But if you choose to approach them with an attitude of gratitude for the feedback, your entire internal landscape shifts. You recognize that every single one of these experiences, no matter how painful, is providing you with invaluable data that you simply could not have obtained any other way. Be grateful for the lesson learned, for the clarity gained, for the resilience forged in the fire of adversity. Be grateful for the path that closed, because it forces you to seek a new, perhaps more aligned direction. Be grateful for the mistakes, for they reveal the assumptions you need to question, the skills you need to develop, and the blind spots you need to illuminate. This profound gratitude for every piece of feedback transforms failure from a heavy burden into a lightweight, powerful teacher, propelling you forward with renewed energy and purpose, making you supremely adaptable. Adaptability is the very essence of thriving in a world where failure is just feedback. The individual who fears failure also fears change, clinging rigidly to old plans and outdated strategies. They become brittle, prone to breaking when confronted with unexpected challenges or the undeniable evidence that their current approach isn't working. But the high achiever, armed with the understanding that every setback offers invaluable information, embraces adaptability as their superpower. Consider the greatest innovators and visionaries throughout history. They weren't born with perfect foresight. They were masters of adaptation. Think of the pioneers of the internet. Their initial visions for how this technology would be used were often vastly different from its ultimate applications. But they were constantly experimenting, launching new ideas, and absorbing the feedback from users in the market. When an idea didn't gain traction, they didn't see it as a failure of their grand vision. They saw it as feedback, pointing them towards a more effective application, a more compelling product. This willingness to adapt, to pivot based on real-world data, is what allowed them to shape the digital landscape we inhabit today. Your path to the apex will demand continuous adaptation. The feedback you receive, whether from a failed project, a market shift, or a personal challenge, is your invitation to evolve. It's a signal to adjust your sails, to reroute your course, or even to completely redesign your vessel. This isn't about abandoning your core purpose, but about finding increasingly intelligent and effective ways to achieve it. It means being nimble, agile, and courageous enough to scrap a plan that isn't working, even if you've invested significant time or resources into it. Embrace experimentation. Launch small. Learn fast. Be willing to pivot. See every unexpected outcome as a piece of feedback, providing you with the intelligence needed to make smarter, more informed decisions going forward. This continuous dance of action, feedback, and adaptation is what transforms potential into progress, ensuring that you are always evolving, always optimizing, and always finding the most effective path toward your goals. This makes you profoundly resilient. Resilience, the unbreakable spirit that allows you to endure, to recover, and to thrive in the face of adversity, is forged in the fires of embracing failure as feedback. For those who see setbacks as definitive ends, resilience is a fragile concept easily shattered. But for those who recognize that every fall offers a crucial lesson, every closed door a new direction, resilience becomes an inherent, unwavering strength. Consider the story of Abraham Lincoln, a man whose life was a litany of failures before he rose to lead a nation through its darkest hour. He lost multiple elections, faced business failures, and suffered profound personal tragedies. Each of these moments for a lesser man would have been crushing defeats. But Lincoln, in his profound wisdom, seemed to possess an innate ability to extract lessons from every hardship. He didn't dwell on what went wrong. He internalized the feedback, deepened his understanding of human nature, honed his rhetorical skills, and fortified his resolve. His resilience wasn't about avoiding failure. It was about his unwavering commitment to learning from it, using it to forge a character of unparalleled strength and wisdom. Your journey to the apex will present you with moments that feel like monumental failures. There will be rejections that sting, losses that deplete, and criticisms that wound. In these moments, your understanding that failure is just feedback will be your most potent weapon. It means refusing to succumb to self-pity or external blame. It means actively seeking the lesson embedded within the pain, the insight hidden within the disappointment. This isn't about being stoic or emotionless. It's about developing the capacity to process the difficulty, extract the learning, and then with renewed determination stand back up and move forward. Each time you face a perceived failure and choose to analyze it for its feedback, rather than letting it defeat you, you are strengthening the muscle of your resilience. You are proving to yourself over and over again that you are not defined by temporary outcomes, but by your unwavering commitment to growth and your capacity to learn. This constant process of overcoming challenges, rooted in the understanding of feedback, is the very core of lifelong learning. Learning, in its deepest and most transformative sense, is the continuous assimilation of feedback from the universe. The average individual views learning as a finite process, confined to classrooms or specific courses. Once the diploma is earned, or the skill acquired, they cease to actively seek out new knowledge or challenge their existing assumptions. This stagnation is the antithesis of progress, and it makes them vulnerable to the inevitable shifts and changes of life. But the high achiever, the one relentlessly climbing towards their apex, understands that life itself is the greatest classroom, and every experience, especially those that don't go as planned, is an invaluable lesson waiting to be integrated. Think of the scientific method itself. It's an endless loop of hypothesis, experimentation, observation, and analysis of results, which are nothing more than feedback. Every scientific discovery, every advancement in medicine, every technological breakthrough is the culmination of countless iterations where failures in previous experiments provided the crucial data needed to refine the approach and ultimately achieve success. The greatest scientists are not those who are always right, but those who are the most adept at learning from being wrong. Your entire journey to the apex is a living, breathing curriculum. Every project, every relationship, every challenge, every unexpected outcome is a module designed to teach you something vital. Embrace the uncomfortable truths that feedback sometimes delivers. Be hungry for data, whether it affirms your course or demands a radical pivot. Read voraciously, listen attentively, observe keenly, and reflect deeply on every experience. This isn't just about accumulating facts, it's about developing an unparalleled capacity for self-correction, for rapid adaptation, for profound wisdom. It's about cultivating a mindset where mistakes are not seen as shameful errors, but as indispensable opportunities for accelerated learning. When you truly commit to this lifelong posture of learning, fueled by the relentless pursuit of feedback, you become an unstoppable force. You are no longer merely reactive to life's events. You are an active participant, an intelligent sculptor of your own destiny, transforming every piece of information into a stepping stone for your next greater ascent. You embody the very essence of evolution, continuously refining yourself in response to the dynamic world around you. Now, pause and let this truth resonate deep within your core. The very construct of failure as a final definitive judgment is a myth. It is a societal narrative that has chained generations to mediocrity, stifled creativity, and crushed countless dreams. But you, listening now, have the power to shatter that illusion. You have the choice, in this very moment, to redefine your relationship with every setback, every disappointment, every misstep. The titans of industry, the revolutionary artists, the groundbreaking scientists, the inspiring leaders, they were not immune to challenges. They faced rejection, ridicule, bankruptcy, and devastating loss. Their path was not magically free of obstacles. What set them apart was not the absence of failure, but their radical reinterpretation of it. They instinctively understood that every perceived stumble was merely feedback, a vital piece of information, a compass needle pointing them toward the next, more intelligent action. You are equipped with the same capacity. Your mind is a powerful engine of adaptation. Your spirit, if nurtured, is infinitely resilient. Your journey to your own apex will be challenging, demanding, and at times intensely uncomfortable. You will encounter resistance. You will face outcomes that fall short of your expectations. But if you hold firm to this single liberating truth, what if failure was just feedback? Then nothing can truly stop you. Every closed door becomes an invitation to explore a new, perhaps better pathway. Every mistake becomes a lesson etched into the fabric of your wisdom. Every setback becomes a catalyst for reinvention, a forge where your resilience is tempered and your clarity is sharpened. You are not defined by your falls, but by your relentless decision to rise, to learn, and to grow from every single experience. So step forward, take that bold action, launch that dream, initiate that difficult conversation, embrace the uncertainty, knowing that whatever the outcome, it will provide you with the exact feedback you need to take your next, more powerful step. The journey to your apex is not about avoiding missteps. It's about mastering the art of learning from them. Go forth with courage in your heart and curiosity in your mind, and let every experience, every single failure propel you higher, faster, and with greater wisdom towards the magnificent destiny that awaits you. The canvas of your life is waiting for you to paint your masterpiece, and every brushstroke, even the ones you might initially consider wrong, will contribute to its ultimate brilliance. The relentless pursuit of learning, fueled by the reinterpretation of failure as feedback, naturally propels you into the profound realm of mastery. Mastery is not a destination. It is an infinite journey of continuous refinement, a relentless dedication to excellence that transcends mere competence. The average individual is content with sufficient skill, satisfied with good enough, and rarely pushes beyond the comfortable boundaries of their current abilities. They operate within a defined comfort zone, performing tasks adequately but rarely pushing the limits of what's possible. But the high achiever, the one destined for true apex, understands that mastery is forged in the crucible of persistent effort, intelligent practice, and an insatiable hunger for improvement, continually sharpened by the lessons gleaned from every attempt. Consider the legendary martial artists, musicians, or chess grandmasters. Their extraordinary skill is not born from a single breakthrough, but from thousands upon thousands of hours of deliberate practice, of pushing past plateaus, of meticulously analyzing every flawed movement, every missed note, every strategic miscalculation. Each failure in their practice is not a sign of inadequacy, but a precise piece of feedback illuminating the exact area that requires more attention, more refinement, more dedicated effort. They don't shy away from their weaknesses. They actively seek them out, understanding that these are the fertile grounds for profound growth. Their journey to mastery is one of continuous self-correction, fueled by the understanding that every error is a precise instruction. Your journey to your personal apex demands this same commitment to mastery. Whatever your chosen field be, entrepreneurship, artistic creation, scientific research, or leadership, you must cultivate an unyielding dedication to becoming an absolute expert. This means not just acquiring knowledge, but applying it, testing it, and then meticulously analyzing the results. It means embracing the discomfort of stretching your abilities, of tackling challenges that push you to your limits, and of failing forward repeatedly until excellence becomes second nature. This commitment to mastery is intimately tied to your willingness to dissect and learn from your setbacks. When a project doesn't hit the mark, don't just discard it, analyze it. What aspects of your skill, your strategy, or your execution were insufficient? What precise areas require more practice, more study, more deliberate effort? Each failure provides a roadmap to your next level of competence, illuminating the specific skills you need to hone, the knowledge gaps you need to fill, and the mental models you need to refine. It transforms abstract notions of getting better into concrete, actionable steps. This relentless pursuit of mastery, informed by the wisdom of feedback, ensures that your climb is not just forward, but consistently upward, demanding an inherent courage. Courage is not the absence of fear, but the unwavering decision to act in spite of it, particularly the fear of the feedback we label as failure. The average individual often allows the specter of what might go wrong to paralyze them, to keep them from taking the essential leaps required for true growth. They might have brilliant ideas, profound insights, and immense potential, but the sheer terror of public missteps, of criticism, of financial loss, or simply of looking foolish keeps them firmly anchored in the safe harbor of inaction. But the high achiever, the one who ascends to their apex, understands that courage is the fundamental currency of progress, and that true courage is most profoundly expressed when you step into the unknown, fully prepared to learn from whatever outcome emerges. Consider the bold expeditions of explorers who ventured into uncharted territories, facing starvation, disease, and the constant threat of the unknown. Their courage wasn't born from a certainty of success. It was born from a fierce commitment to discovery, an unwavering belief in the value of the journey itself, and an understanding that even if they didn't reach their ultimate destination, the lessons learned and the knowledge gained would be invaluable feedback for humanity. Or think of civil rights leaders who faced violence, imprisonment, and death threats. Their courage wasn't a reckless disregard for danger. It was an indomitable will to act on their convictions, to push for a more just world, understanding that every confrontation, every setback, every act of resistance was providing crucial feedback about the path to true equality. Your ascent to the apex will demand immense courage. It will require you to step outside your comfort zone, to challenge deeply ingrained beliefs, to take risks that feel uncomfortable, and to expose yourself to the very feedback you once feared. It means having the courage to launch an imperfect product, to share an unfinished idea, to ask for help, to admit when you don't know, and to try again after a public misstep. It means facing the possibility of rejection, not as a personal blow, but as a piece of information that refines your approach. This isn't about blind bravado, it's about calculated courage, fueled by the conviction that every experience, positive or negative, serves your growth. It means understanding that the only true failure is the failure to act, the failure to learn, the failure to engage with the feedback the universe constantly offers. When you embrace courage, the fear of failure loses its power over you. It transforms from a paralyzing monster into a mere signpost, indicating where your deepest growth lies. You become liberated to experiment, to innovate, to push the boundaries of what you thought possible, knowing that every outcome, however unexpected, is merely another lesson in your grand journey of self-mastery. And from this deep well of courage, a powerful intuition begins to emerge. Intuition, often dismissed as mere gut feeling or unscientific hunch, is in fact a sophisticated synthesis of accumulated knowledge, experience, and especially the relentless processing of feedback, including what we label as failure. The average individual relies heavily on external validation, logical analysis, or rigid adherence to established procedures. They often distrust their inner voice, dismissing subtle cues or insights that don't fit neatly into a predefined framework. But the high achiever, the one consistently moving towards their apex, learns to cultivate and trust their intuition, recognizing it as a powerful internal compass honed by countless cycles of action, feedback, and integration. Think of a seasoned entrepreneur who can feel when a deal is right or wrong, even when the numbers don't perfectly align. This isn't magic, it's a profound pattern recognition and subconscious synthesis of thousands of past experiences, including all the deals that went sour, feedback. All the warnings they ignored, feedback. And all the subtle cues they learned to pick up. Or consider a master diagnostician in medicine who can pinpoint a rare illness with seemingly minimal information. Their intuition isn't random. It's the culmination of years of treating patients, of observing symptoms, of seeing countless cases where initial diagnoses were wrong. Feedback, leading to a deeper, more nuanced understanding of the human body. Your journey to the apex will increasingly rely on your cultivated intuition. As you accumulate experience, as you relentlessly seek and integrate feedback from every action you take, your subconscious mind begins to identify patterns, to connect seemingly disparate pieces of information, and to offer insights that transcend pure logic. This intuition becomes particularly potent when you are confronted with unexpected outcomes or situations that don't fit your preconceived notions. It's the quiet whisper that tells you to pivot, to re-examine an assumption, or to push harder in a particular direction, even when the external evidence is still ambiguous. To cultivate this powerful intuition, you must first be willing to take action, generate feedback, and then reflect deeply on that feedback. Don't just dismiss an unexpected outcome, sit with it. Ask yourself, what does my gut tell me about this? What does this feel like beyond the logical analysis? What subconscious connections is my mind trying to make based on my past experiences, especially those where I learned the hard way? By consistently engaging in this cycle of action, feedback, and reflection, you begin to refine your inner compass. You learn to discern between genuine intuitive insights and mere emotional reactions. You develop a profound trust in your own internal wisdom, knowing that it is a powerful synthesizer of all the lessons you've absorbed, particularly those forged in the crucible of failure. This refined intuition then fosters a deeper sense of contribution. Contribution, the profound impulse to give back, to impact others, to leave a lasting legacy beyond personal gain, is often refined and deepened through the very experiences we label as failure. For the average individual, the focus is often self-centric: personal achievement, financial security, individual recognition. While these are natural desires, a profound sense of purpose and true apex achievement inevitably leads to a greater outward focus. And it is in the moments where personal goals might falter, where initial attempts to help others might fall short, that the true nature of contribution is clarified and strengthened. Think of countless philanthropists or social entrepreneurs who started with one vision to solve a problem, only to find their initial efforts met with resistance, unforeseen complexities, or even outright rejection. Their failures in implementation forced them to reevaluate their approach, to listen more deeply to the communities they sought to serve, to understand the true nuances of the problem. This feedback, often painful, didn't diminish their desire to contribute, it refined it. It led to more effective strategies, more sustainable solutions, and ultimately a far greater impact. Their purpose shifted from simply doing good to doing good effectively, informed by the lessons of what didn't work. Your journey to the apex will eventually bring you to this profound realization. True, lasting success is deeply intertwined with meaningful contribution. And paradoxically, your moments of failure, those experiences where you fell short, made mistakes, or encountered unexpected resistance, can be your greatest teachers in how to contribute more effectively. They strip away idealistic notions, revealing the practical realities of making a difference. They force you to be humble, to listen, to adapt, and to ultimately serve a higher purpose with greater wisdom. When a project aimed at helping others doesn't pan out, don't just feel disappointed. Analyze the feedback. What did this teach me about the needs of the community, about the effectiveness of my methods, about the resources required? How can I refine my approach to serve more deeply, more sustainably, more powerfully? This commitment to learning from every attempt, especially in the realm of giving, transforms your efforts from mere good intentions into highly impactful actions. Your contribution becomes more profound, more authentic, and more aligned with the genuine needs of the world because it is constantly being refined by the relentless feedback loop of real-world experience. And this powerful drive to contribute naturally cultivates an unwavering stamina. Stamina, not merely physical endurance, but the psychological, emotional, and spiritual fortitude to persist through prolonged effort, through setbacks, and through the often unglamorous valleys between peaks, is a hallmark of those who reach their apex. The average individual often possesses a fleeting burst of motivation, a sprint of effort, but when the initial excitement wanes, or when failure strikes, their stamina falters. They lack the deep-seated reserves to push through the grinding, repetitive, and often unrewarding periods that are inherent to any significant achievement. But the high achiever, the one who understands failure as merely feedback, possesses an almost inexhaustible well of stamina, because every stumble is not a deterrent, but an instructive data point, invigorating their resolve. Think of ultramarathon runners. Their ability to cover unimaginable distances is not just about physical conditioning, it's about a profound mental and emotional toughness. Every cramp, every stitch in their side, every moment of doubt is a piece of feedback from their body. They learn to interpret these signals, to adapt their pace, to refuel, to push through the pain barrier, knowing that the discomfort is temporary and provides vital information about their limits and capabilities. They don't quit at the first sign of distress. They learn from it, adjust, and keep moving. Their stamina is built on an intimate, feedback-driven relationship with their own physical and mental states. Your journey to your apex will demand extraordinary stamina. There will be periods of intense effort with no immediate reward. There will be long stretches of seemingly little progress. There will be moments when you feel exhausted, discouraged, and tempted to abandon your pursuit. In these moments, your redefinition of failure as feedback becomes your greatest ally. You don't see the lack of immediate results as a sign to quit, but as feedback on your strategy, your timing, or your current level of preparation. You don't see exhaustion as a reason to stop, but as a signal to rest, recalibrate, and then resume with renewed vigor. This isn't about brute force. It's about intelligent persistence. It means having the stamina to continually analyze what's working and what's not, to adapt your approach based on the feedback, and to keep showing up day after day, even when the path is unclear or the results are slow to materialize. Every time you push through a period of low motivation, every time you analyze a disappointing outcome and find a new way forward, every time you choose to endure rather than surrender, you are forging the steel of your own unwavering stamina. This relentless staying power, this enduring fortitude, cultivated by the wisdom of feedback, solidifies your absolute conviction. Conviction, the unshakable certainty in your purpose and your ultimate triumph, is not a static belief. It is a living, breathing force that deepens and strengthens with every experience, especially those that initially appear as failures. For the average individual, conviction is often a fragile thing, easily swayed by external criticism, fleeting disappointments, or the sheer weight of obstacles. Their belief system is dependent on immediate positive reinforcement, and when that is absent, their resolve crumbles. But the high achiever, the one ascending to their apex, builds a conviction so profound, so resilient, that it becomes an impenetrable shield against doubt, forged in the fires of lessons learned through adversity. Think of a visionary leader who continues to champion a seemingly impossible cause, even when faced with overwhelming opposition, ridicule, and repeated setbacks. Their conviction isn't blind. It's informed by every challenge they've encountered, every argument they've lost, every plan that didn't work. Each failure provides critical feedback, revealing the weaknesses in their strategy, the flaws in their messaging, or the depth of the resistance they face. By absorbing this feedback, they don't abandon their cause. They refine their arguments, strengthen their resolve, and find new, more effective ways to move forward. Their conviction becomes unassailable because it is built upon the solid ground of hard-won experience and an intimate understanding of the landscape they navigate. Your journey to the apex will demand a conviction of this magnitude. There will be moments when everyone around you doubts your vision, when the data seems to contradict your aspirations, and when the path forward appears utterly dark. In these moments, your ability to see failure as feedback is paramount. It allows you to transform external doubt into internal certainty, to interpret setbacks not as reasons to abandon your purpose, but as crucial data points that refine your understanding and strengthen your resolve. This conviction is not about ignoring reality. It's about having a deeper understanding of it, an understanding born from the iterative process of action, feedback, and learning. When you truly grasp that every outcome provides valuable information, you gain an inherent confidence in your ability to navigate any challenge. You become deeply convinced that you have the internal resources, the adaptable mindset, and the relentless drive to learn whatever is necessary to achieve your ultimate purpose. This conviction becomes a magnetic force, attracting resources, opportunities, and the right people to support your mission. It fuels your stamina, sharpens your clarity, and empowers your every action, ensuring that your ascent is relentless, culminating in the profound realization of your inherent magnificence. Magnificence, the fullest expression of your unique potential, the embodiment of your highest self, is not a gift bestowed upon a select few at birth. It is a state achieved through relentless effort, profound self-discovery, and, crucially, the courageous embrace and masterful integration of every piece of feedback life throws your way, especially those we mistakenly label as failures. The average individual settles for competence, for safety, for a muted version of their true capabilities, precisely because they fear the very experiences that would unleash their inherent brilliance. They avoid the crucible of challenge, and thus they never truly discover the depths of their own power. But the high achiever, the one who reaches their apex, understands that true magnificence is forged in the fires of adversity, tempered by lessons learned from every stumble, and polished by the relentless pursuit of self-improvement through feedback. Consider the metamorphosis of a caterpillar into a butterfly. The struggle within the chrysalis is not a failure. It is the vital process, the internal feedback mechanism that allows the creature to develop the strength in its wings to fly. Without that struggle, without that internal pressure and self-organization, the butterfly cannot emerge. Similarly, your moments of perceived failure, the projects that crumbled, the relationships that ended, the goals that eluded, you are not indicators of your inadequacy. They are the essential periods of internal restructuring, the crucial feedback loops that allow you to shed old limitations, develop new strengths, and ultimately emerge as a more powerful, more capable, more magnificent version of yourself. Your journey to your apex is precisely this kind of metamorphosis. It is a process of continuous becoming, driven by your unwavering commitment to learning from every experience. Every time you analyze a setback for its lessons, rather than letting it defeat you, you are developing new neural pathways, strengthening your problem-solving abilities, and deepening your understanding of yourself and the world. Every time you courageously try again after a perceived failure, you are proving to yourself your own boundless capacity for resilience and growth. This is not about achieving perfection, for perfection is a static, unattainable ideal. It is about achieving mastery over yourself, over your reactions, over your learning process. It is about cultivating a profound trust in your own ability to navigate any challenge, to learn any lesson, and to ultimately manifest your highest vision, precisely because you have internalized the truth that failure is merely feedback. The fear of failure has held humanity captive for far too long. It is a phantom, a construct, a lie that has prevented countless souls from truly soaring. But you, now armed with this profound understanding, are liberated. You are no longer bound by the chains of perceived inadequacy. Every step you take, every outcome you experience is now a valuable guidepost, an instructor, a benevolent force propelling you toward your inherent magnificence. So, go forth. Embrace the challenges, welcome the setbacks, lean into the discomfort of growth. For within every single moment of perceived failure lies a treasure trove of wisdom, a precise instruction, a powerful piece of feedback that will refine your purpose, sharpen your vision, fortify your resolve, and ultimately unleash the full, unbridled force of your own magnificent potential. The world is waiting for the brilliant, resilient, unstoppable you that is ready to emerge, forged in the fires of experience and guided by the relentless wisdom of feedback. Step into your power. The journey to your ultimate apex has truly just begun.